So my recommendations for policymakers or public administrators is to really look into public-private partnerships to help solve this issue. And the government, I believe, needs to adopt more updated geographic information systems that allow for public input to report coverage discrepancies. When the FCC was utilizing a broadband map to determine how much each state gets for grant funding for infrastructure from the infrastructure bill, there was unfortunately no way of reporting any discrepancies. And so in the mapping, as you can see in this little picture here, there's these tiny little squares in each of those green outlines, and each of those represents a parcel. And in that parcel, there could be several different houses. If one house out of that whole parcel has access to internet of some type, the old FCC coverage map would count that as the whole parcel had broadband coverage, which was not the case. So unfortunately, a lot of agencies, both public and private, have discovered severe discrepancies in that mapping reporting. So GIS could definitely help with that need. And then also, I think another issue, a recommendation could help the issue, is streamlining permitting in state, local, and federal regulatory processes. I know I used to do a lot of state authorization at APU, and dealing with anything government related can take a really long time. And in the instance of building and maintaining broadband, you have to go through many different steps of regulatory processes to make sure that you are able to build in this area. Sometimes there's environmental restrictions and the EPA has to get involved. Sometimes it's just a matter of permitting. Maybe a city, will say Rancho Cucamonga, for example, where I live, maybe they have a partnership with T-Mobile or with Spectrum, and so if another competitor tries to come in, they're automatically going to turn them down, even if they have better infrastructure offerings for the communities. So in order to provide broadband internet in rural areas, telecommunication firms may find it useful to use GIS, like I said. GIS can help gather, analyze, and visualize the data on the rural landscapes, including the locations of potential customers, the state of the infrastructure, and any natural impediments like mountains or woods, the kind of like the environmental aspects I was talking about. And this information can be used to provide precise and thorough maps that assist businesses in choosing the most practical and economical paths for laying fiber optic cables and setting up other broadband infrastructures. The permitting and regulatory procedures I was talking about for construction, it could be streamlined so much better. There's right now, in a lot of cities, at least in my research, there's not a lot of streamlined processes. So there's not, oh, you have to do this and then this and then this, because the grants and the regulations are all still so new. Everything's kind of moving at a snail's pace. So I believe that a well-designed public-private partnership can pay special attention to conflict management, especially between grant funding and communities, and also act as a liaison between public entities like civic communities and also private businesses such as Charter or Spectrum, T-Mobile, etc.